Hello everybody, welcome back to the Game Room. Today I'm going to go over my top 10 favorite Sega Genesis games. I want to emphasize that these are my top 10 favorite games. They are probably not going to match many of the top 10 Sega Genesis lists that you see out there on the internet. I have different tastes than other people. I'm going to start with number 10 and work my way up to number 1. And along the way, I'm going to do 3 honorable mentions. I'm not going to just save them for the end like everyone else does. I'm just going to mix them in with the list. Coming in at number 10 is Thunder Force 3. I have always liked this game ever since it was released. I bought a Sega Genesis in the 90s and enjoyed it then, and then I enjoyed it also as a collector later in life. And this game is timeless to me. The graphics are great, the sound is great, the gameplay is great. It just scores high on all the different fundamentals. I would describe it as buttery smooth, for lack of a better term. There's hardly any glitches at all. The weapons in the game are awesome. As you collect them, you can rotate between them and so forth. Some people say that this game is too easy. It's not for me, but I still enjoy playing it. I just keep finding myself playing this game again and again as the years go on. In fact, most of the games you see today will be ones that I get off the shelf again and again. It's one of my top measures I used to make this list. Coming in at number 9 is Outrun. This is a fun, relaxing game. I can play it at 3 a.m. in the morning. I can play it at 8 a.m. in the morning. It's a very casual game. Not the best graphics in the world, but the music and the bright colors of the scenery just do it for me. I don't have to concentrate too hard on it. I just pop it in. There's different routes you can take each time you play it, which gives it a lot of replayability there. There's better versions of Outrun out there, but this is the one that I'm most accustomed to, and I've never stopped playing it. Here's one of my honorable mentions, and that's Captain America and the Avengers. I don't know anyone else that likes this game. I don't know anyone that talks about it, but it's a pretty cool fighting game. I'm not even a big fan of comic books or the media behind them, but I always found the gameplay in this game to be top-notch. It definitely is not the most graphical game, and it's not going to win any awards for the sound. In fact, those things are so bad in this game, it makes it funny to play the game. But the gameplay is really top-notch. It's a fast-paced fighting game. The people you're punching and kicking and stuff, they don't last very long, so you kind of blast through these stages. And then you get to these stages where it mixes things up, like it turns into a shoot-'em-up. So, really good game, and if you haven't played it, I recommend you give it a try. Time for number 8, and that is Castle of Illusion. I like these kind of platformers, which don't take themselves too seriously. It has a very happy mood to it, and I just love butt smashing the enemies and the way they make you go flying after you bounce off of them. The music is something I could listen to again and again. I think if you play this game and you don't like it, you may not have a heart. It's just another game I can get off the shelf and play without thinking about it too much. It's just an overall awesome platformer. Number 7 is Philios. I love shoot-'em-ups, in case you haven't figured it out by now. And this is one that mixes one of my favorite things, mythology, Greek mythology, with shoot-'em-ups. It doesn't quite follow the mythology correctly, but you're on the back of a Pegasus. You do battle a lot of monsters from mythology. Pretty slow-paced. There is this part at the beginning where you're going pretty fast, but for the most part, it's a slow-paced shooter. There's a little bit of Gradius in this game with the options that triple your firepower. It is a charge shot driven shooter. You have to charge your shots a lot in order to progress. If you're just shooting the standard shot with turbo controller, you may not do as good. It's a short game, but it does do some cool graphical things, and I've always liked this. I had it back in the day, and I'm glad I have it today. At number 6, I have Streets of Rage 2. This is one that most of you probably know about, and it's probably not a surprise that it's on this list. I believe the hype on this one. This is one of the best beat-em-ups ever made. The music is legendary. There's different characters you can choose from. The move set is pretty good. It's very well paced. They pretty much hit it out of the park on this one, and I don't think I have to explain it any further. It's pretty close to a masterpiece. So let me give you another honorable mention. This one did not make it into the top 10. That is Streets of Rage 3. It doesn't measure up to Streets of Rage 2, but I still find it a very compelling game to play. I like that they tried something different with the music, but I have trouble listening to it. It's very fast-paced. It has a lot of the thrills that Streets of Rage 2 had. It's a little bit stranger. Overall, though, I find myself reaching for Streets of Rage 2 when I want to play one of the games in this series. At number 5 is Warsong. This is a tactics game. You fight little wars against other people and other little creatures. It's very much like Shining Force, but I think this game is better than Shining Force. And I have in recent years played and beat both those games. You basically get to pick certain characters to go into battle, and as they battle, they earn experience, and as they gain experience, they go up levels. As they level up, you get to choose what they grow into, basically. They become more powerful, they learn more spells. You can shoot spells clear across the board to attack multiple creatures and stuff like that. It's probably not that exciting to look at. I've beaten it twice, and each time was different because I picked different heroes to level up. So, very cool game. Number 4 is Granada. This is a game where you're just going around in a tank and you're blowing things up. It doesn't get any more complicated than that. You have a large charge-like shot that shoots you back a little bit, but you also have a standard shot. You can shoot in 8 different directions. It might actually be 16 directions. I'll have to check on that. You can hold one of the buttons to lock your direction. There's some gauntlet aspects to this. There's like machine generators that you have to destroy sometimes. There's nice explosions. There's nice boss battles. You're just a little tank blasting everything away. So it's a very safe game to make. I'm surprised they didn't make more of these on the Genesis. I never grow tired of this game, and if I go a year without playing it, it's very easy to just get off the shelf and play again. Number 3 is Ghouls and Ghosts. I learned about this game by reading Electronic Gaming Monthly back in the day, and I instantly knew I needed to get it day one. That was mainly because I enjoyed Ghosts and Goblins on the NES, and I saw this as a huge level up from that. And that's exactly what this is. It takes the series to a whole new level. The creature design, the design of the stages is top notch. I enjoy marching through these stages and killing all these Halloween themed monsters around me. There's a lot of cool weapon choices. If you get the super armor, you can charge up and do a special attack, which is pretty cool. Your success in this game is predicated on you reading the enemy patterns correctly and reacting to them. There's a lot of subtlety to the gameplay. This is one of my favorite platformers of all time. Now for the last of the 3 honorable mentions, and that is Thunder Force 2. I enjoyed 3 more than 2, but I don't hate 2 like a lot of people do. I actually like the overhead stages. They remind me of this old game I used to play in the arcades a lot called Time Pilot. Just like the third game, this one has a lot of different weapons, and they are really cool. The voices are kind of garbled, but I do like the sound effects. The people that made this game also made Elemental Master, and you hear some of the same sound effects in that game. The side-scrolling stages are cool as well. This game is harder, at least for me, than number 3. So I can't get as far in this game, but I still enjoy the journey once I start playing it. Okay, now for number 2. This is one you're probably not going to expect, but there's no doubt about it in my mind. I played it a lot in the early days of the Genesis, and as a retro gamer, I still come back to it, and that is Forgotten Worlds, which is basically Contra with jetpacks. There's a little satellite that follows you around, and it shoots its thing, and you shoot something out of your own gun. So there's 2 forms of firepower. As you kill enemies, you can gather money, and you can use that money to upgrade either your satellite or yourself, or to give yourself more armor. There's also hidden money in the game, and once you start learning where all those things are, you can enjoy some of the higher powered weapons. I like the pace of it. To me, this showcased what the Genesis could do compared to the NES. It was one of the early games released on the Genesis, and it looks wonderful. I ended up buying other versions of this game on the Master System and on the Turbo CD, but this is the one I always come back to. And by the way, it is 2-player at a time if you have a buddy. It's not a perfect game, but it just feels good to be floating around and being able to shoot in all different directions. All right, time for number 1. This is a shoot 'em up, or a shmup, or whatever you want to call it. This is one of my favorite shoot 'em ups of all time. It's not a favorite of most people, especially on the Genesis. Of course, the Genesis had a lot of great shoot 'em ups. It just depends on who you are. It is Fire Shark. I like the pace of this game. I like the enemies and how they blow up and leave craters. There's something about leaving a crater that I like. I like how you can slowly power up your weapon by gathering the P symbols. There's 3 main weapons. The green one sucks. And when you get one of them powered up a lot, it looks more like a Sega Saturn shooter with all the firepower that you're unleashing on the board. It's just tremendous. I like the industrial bosses and the industrial vehicles that just get in front of you and try to shoot you down. I can play this game for very long sessions, especially if I can get powered up without getting killed a lot. I get into this flow. It's almost like a trance, and I'm just sitting there shooting things for a half hour or an hour, and I enjoy every minute of it. I bypass a lot of the other shoot 'em ups when I'm grabbing this one, so it appeals to me a lot. So that's my list. Let me know what your 10 favorite Sega Genesis games are, and I bet you your lists are a lot different from mine, but that's what's so great about the Sega Genesis. It has so many different types of games, and it has a large number of them. I think there's a lot of different opinions on it. If you're a big Sega fan, I do recommend you watch my video on why I play Dreamcast more than any other game system. The link to it is in front of you right there. May your games make you happy and smart, and may people respect you for playing them. So long, everybody.